So we're eventually here at the Arthur Ross Gallery. Let's go in and explore. So here we are at the Arthur Ross Gallery, and I have the pleasure of Heather and Linda's company. Would you like to introduce yourself, Heather?
Hello, I'm Heather Montefiore, University Art Collections Manager and Associate Curator.
Lynn?
I'm Lynn Marston-Atlas, Director of the Arthur Ross Gallery and the University Curator, and welcome to the gallery. This painting by Henri-Louis Dupré, called Départ Incognito, the incognito departure. It's the departure of the Empress Eugénie. Historic date, the morning of September 5th, just after she has fled the Tuileries Palace, and she is leaving Dr. Evans's home and into his carriage, which you can see now at the dental school. It's been restored and returned there, and they are escaping over to England, where the Empress was in exile.
Fascinating history. So this is just the very start of our trip into the Arthur Ross Gallery. If we could come this way, I just want to talk a little bit about the collection here. Lynn, tell us a little bit about this.
It's an official portrait of Napoleon III that we found actually in storage 5 years ago in very, very poor condition. Since that time it has been cleaned and restored. It's a wonderful contrast because what you see here is a very official, stylized portrait, very much in the style of a Roman emperor, carved in marble, whereas you have a much more complex and intimate kind of portrait of Napoleon III here by Healy.
And again, this is really fascinating stuff for us because this is all part of Evan's collection.
So this is a display case that we assembled honoring Napoleon III and his wife, the Empress Eugénie. One of the themes of the exhibition is the multiplicity and layered imagery of these historical figures. One of our staff favorites, which is a letter holder with a Napoleonic N, and press the button and it opens up and one could insert a piece of correspondence. So we think this probably sat on Thomas Evans's desk.
Fantastic. Let's walk into the gallery properly. So when we come in, I'm immediately astounded by the quality of the display on this wall.
This is a typical 19th century salon style hang, which means that if you went to the official French salon, the paintings would have been hung in this manner. In fact, they probably would have been 3 tiers, and they would have been hung even more closely than they are now. On the first tier, you can see the disruption of this particular small town, and all of the officers and the international attachés coming into town, grabbing a lunch, pilfering, if you will, stores, and then on the move again. On the second tier, if you will, further up, we have several portraits of Mrs. Thomas Evans on the left here. Behind you, we have a fabulous piece here. This is an audio vase. It was sent out for conservation just recently, and it's a fabulous trophy from the King and Queen of Brussels. And you can see here on it the surplus of decoration and style and design.
So this desk was actually in my office. We got this restored, and it's now in a really fantastic state. But to think that this was actually in Evans's office, remarkable. And the one piece that we should talk about is the piece around here. Heather, do you want to talk about this class?
Absolutely. This was one of the biggest and best surprises of bringing the Evans collection back to life. This was manufactured by Minton's Limited in England, designed around 1867, and it's called the Prometheus vase. The figure of Prometheus is at the top. Of course, his punishment on Mount Caucasus for stealing fire from the gods was having his liver picked out each night, only to be regenerated the next day.
Let's take you to another part of the gallery, and we're doing this relatively quickly, but these 2 paintings were on my wall in my office.
I want to talk about these 2 portraits because it's quite fascinating, the fact that this young Quaker boy in 1847, and I must say I think Dr. Evans left his Quaker roots right here in Philadelphia, in West Philadelphia, and he very much embraced the Second Empire and all of its great excesses. However, he was very much involved in keeping the legacy of his heritage alive. It's especially interesting to me, this has not been restored, and I can't wait till we restore this painting, because what you see here is actually the painting's been painted by two different people. There were itinerant artists who would go around with a background painted in, and just the preparatory work here of the jacket and this ruffled shirt. And if you look at the manner in which this is painted, it's much more primitive, much simpler than the subtleties of this particular portrait.
These are wine decanters or claret jugs, and they respond to the Victorian interest in novelty. And they're actually a very rare survival because of the fragility of glass. This pair were actually made by two different silversmiths. They're both silver with a gilded application to represent variation in tone of the feathers. They were intended for red wine or a dark red claret to be held in them, and that wine would look really lovely behind the clear glass. It would have a very dramatic effect.
So, can you tell us a little bit, Lynn, or about the history?
I'll talk about these for a little bit. These are actually a pair of commemorative drinking horns given by the Prince and Princess of Wales to Dr. Evans in 1884. So these were things that he wouldn't have drunk out of, but would have been, because the importance of the table at this time was so important, not only were you served things, but all of these objects would have been used as decoration for the table. This is an important trophy from one of the royalties. So
it came from one of the royalties? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this again was in my office for quite some time. This came from the Prince of Wales at the time. Absolutely fantastic. And of course it's Wales because it's George fighting the dragon and killing the dragon, if you can see it in a different shot. But for long enough this sat in our office and we didn't really think that much of it, but it turns out it was absolutely fantastic and it's actually probably worth an awful lot more, both in history and in its value than we actually initially thought. So, thank you. So I think that this kind of brings us to a reasonable conclusion of the trip around the Evans Museum. It's now in the Arthur Ross Gallery, and it's something that really deserves a visit.